Welcome back to The Uncomfortable Truth. Today's episode, intuitivity. I know there's no such word. It's called a neologism. A neologism is a word that's coined or made up. And so I made up intuitivity. And I use it to mean the tendency to trust our own intuition. Intuitive, quote unquote, became a big deal with computers and mobile devices. Were they intuitive? In fact, Apple gives you 0 paper instructions today for any of their platforms and very little virtual instruction. You tend to recognize what it is you should do through your experience, and in most cases, you tend to recognize what to do by watching others and accepting certain social cues. You look around. But it's interesting, sometimes that doesn't work. My wife and I were in Palm Beach and went to a church there where we hadn't gone before. And when it came time for communion, where every single prior experience, communion starts in the front pews, this church started in the rear pews. And suddenly we got into the traffic flow, and even though it was church, we got some dirty looks. So we should have probably paused and looked around first instead of just using our intuition about how things would work. We had no way to know it, and so you look around and you learn. When I skied a lot, I tried to use my intuition on ski trails, but I should have used a damn map, because a lot of times I found myself on trails that threatened my life. People who place bets by intuition aren't any more or less successful, I think, than a coin flip. However, I do advocate and have long espoused executives using their gut, their intuition, in hiring when all other factors are equal. I don't mean they should hire people who look like them or act like them, but I mean if the educational background and the expertise and such requirements are about the same, use your gut to tell you whether this person is going to be successful there. And you can usually tell by sensing out what kind of sense of humor they have, or how energetic they are, or how innovative they seem to be. Intuition is based to varying degrees on our experiences, our logic, and our common sense. Therefore, it's the ability to understand something immediately without conscious reasoning. That's what I think intuition's all about. And as I consider people, as I coach people all over the world, I think those who have the best intuition tend to have a leg up, tend to have an advantage, because they don't have to understand something immediately, but they bring together this alchemy of what they already know and have experienced to make basically the right decision. In fact, intuit has become a verb. I intuit that you like the lobster. Now, I have to tell you a story that is absolutely true. I'm not making this up. A guy tells me that he intuits other people's behaviors by his talking, not theirs. I said, you're full of crap. He said, I'll prove it to you, buy me breakfast. And so I get stuck buying him breakfast. And he talks, indeed, through all of breakfast. He talked about 95% of the time. And I said over coffee, finally, okay, what have you intuited about me? And he looks out the window and he says, pointing to my Ferrari, you love driving that car. I said, God, your approach really works. That's just brilliant. How would you have known that? I do believe we don't trust ourselves sufficiently. And consequently, not trusting ourselves sufficiently means we don't trust what? We don't trust our native intuition fully, or even enough. We don't want to stray from the herd. We don't want to go from the mainstream. We want to be in the safety of numbers. We want to be in the pack. We focus on our past mistakes and assign them to using faulty judgment and intuition instead of looking at past successes, which used excellent judgment and fine intuition. We feel that decisions made on an intuitive basis can't be undone or changed, which of course they can almost all the time. I tended to buy stocks early in my career because either the companies in question were clients of mine, and without having any insider knowledge, I could observe the quality of their management and of their culture, or because I used their products and thought highly of their products. Those were the two criteria I used, and I didn't examine them versus other companies or other products. I used my intuition a great deal. Hence, I bought Apple at $17 a share, and I still own it. Now, is that intuition or logic? Subsequent professional advisors I've talked to have told me through the years that I had too much apple and I should unload a good part of it. That was their professional opinion. Went against my intuition. I think the more positive we are about life, the more we trust our intuition. But it should be personal, not that of others. I'm not going to bet on a horse or on the roulette wheel or on my next career move based on someone else's intuition, but I do trust my own. In late Middle English, by the way, which houses the origins of the word intuition, the origins were in spiritual insights. Intuit meant to have spiritual insights. And let's face it, there's nothing wrong with being in touch with the world through our intuition, is there? And that, for some of you, might be the uncomfortable truth.